Hi, I'm Brett with LifeXMastery. Today's video article is going to be about how to deal with being fired from your job or career. Now, before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please be sure to click the subscribe button below. This will help our channel grow, and YouTube will start displaying our videos in searches around the world. And if you want to follow us socially on Facebook or Twitter, you can find us under LifeXMastery, and we'd love to have you. So, you've been fired, now what? Losing your job can be emotionally stunning, especially if you were at that job for any length of real time. In addition, the relationships and friendships you built and nurtured over that period seem gone in the wind as well. No matter what the reason or story is that led to your firing. Right now, I'm sure you're feeling full of shock, abandonment, anger, and resentment toward your employer and maybe other employees that you used to work with. You're probably feeling anxious and nervous and stressed out about what you're going to do next. Let me tell you that, if you cope with this time in the right way, you can deal with this firing and come out on top bigger and better than you were before. I was fired from a 6-figure income job. It was years in the making though. I was a powerhouse employee, which led to my promotion into management, and my performance and execution provided me even more promotion to a higher management position. Along the way, I learned valuable lessons on the importance of training and developing people, care and empathy toward your employees. As an employer, I was a solid operator, but personally I was emotionally dysfunctional. I was abandoned as a child, and grew up in foster homes, and bounced from one relationship to another. Little did I know, I had attachment issues that prohibited me from enjoying healthy, caring, loving relationships in my life. I would either try too hard, be too sensitive, or I would keep people at arm's length, which killed every single relationship I ever had. Where I excelled, and where everybody loved me, was at work. Work was everything to me. Work always came first. Work never left me or abandoned me. Work was always there and seemed to be willing to give me more and more as time went by. But due to a personal relationship decision that I made years earlier, coupled with the death of my adopted father a year and a half before, my emotional dysfunction came to a head and overflowed into work, which led to my almost immediate dismissal. I am now happier than I have ever been in my adult life. Let me share with you why and how you can be too. Don't explode. Initially, when I was fired, I didn't get angry or freak out. It's understandable that you feel insulted, especially if you feel your firing lacks merit, or you are being fired for no reason. But acting angry or expressing rage won't do you or anybody any good. Instead of spending time being angry and mad, you need to spend this time focusing on yourself, and coming to grips with your new reality with some dignity. There's no sense in getting physical, or pacing around angry or sending menacing emails or text messages to people. You're going to have to find a new job soon, and you may need to lean on certain people for references, so you don't want your negative emotions impacting your chances in finding new employment. Fired, why? Before I could start engaging in a new employment search, I really need to come to grips with the reason why I was fired. Once I got over the shock of my firing, I clearly understood the position I put myself in. But you might not be so lucky. You may be sitting there dazed and confused with question marks swirling around your head, wondering what you did that got you fired. You might be feeling like you were a model employee, and that you went above and beyond more than anyone else, and yet you're the one who got fired. In any event, the fact remains that you are fired. If you were provided specific reasons during the time of your dismissal, take the time to professionally reach out to your past supervisor or company, and ask them for the specific reason or reasons why they let you go. Being able to understand the reason of your firing will help you to internalize it and emotionally deal with it, so you can move on faster. Maybe they let you go because the company chose to downsize, and they chose to fire you rather than lay you off. Was it your attitude or performance, or your reliability in the workplace? Being fired is a personal experience and an emotional one. Understanding if it was more of a you thing, or more of a them thing, will be essential to your healing process. What will be said? If you were in a high-paying position like I was, you may want to ask how your firing will be described to the rest of the team. You built and nurtured relationships with other leaders and employees, and you had relationships with clients and guests. So it's important to clarify what will be said to them. I asked this question at the time of my firing, and I was assured that the very minimum would be divulged, At the most, I was told that the message would be that I chose not to be with the company anymore. But be forewarned, the person who takes over your job, or the people who worked closely related to the situation, may spill the beans anyway, so you need to be prepared for that. Once I started my new job, I ran into a vendor that I used to work with, and he told me that the guy who took my place told him everything. I wasn't embarrassed, I did what I did, and I took my firing like a man. But just understand that there are people with low character and questionable integrity that live lives of quiet desperation. So they'll look to gossip and try to feel cool by giving up your dirt. Dealing with emotions. Once you completely understand the why behind your firing, you're going to have to start to deal with your emotions. You may lay in bed for a day or 2 or 3, trying to sleep or watching a Netflix or Hulu marathon, just to keep your mind off things. That's okay, you're experiencing a major loss in your life just like you would a breakup, divorce or death. So, this is your time to cry and sleep, and to do a whole lot of nothing. Personally, I wouldn't recommend staying in bed longer than 3 days. If I remember right, I stayed in bed 1 entire day. But I took 2 additional days to focus on a couple projects around my house, and to spend some time with my dogs. This is also not the time for you to lounge around, and focus on the what-ifs. It doesn't benefit you to think about the things that you could have done differently, or said differently. None of that matters anymore. Unfortunately, we can't go back in time and change anything. But what we can do, is change the outcome of our future. You do this by focusing your energy on things that you enjoy, activities that you get excited about doing, or skills that you've always wanted to get better at. Depending on your emotional state right now, you might want to talk with someone. Maybe a family member or close friend. Maybe a counselor. Having conversations with another person helps us to express our feelings and emotions in a way that internalizing them will never do. I didn't have anyone to talk to, and it took me about 3 months to feel normal again. I can only imagine how much better I would have felt if I had someone close to me to talk to. Once you get over the emotional hump of your firing, now you need to put a game plan together for your next employment strategy. Unemployment money. Depending on your financial situation and the reason why you were fired, you might consider applying for unemployment. In most states, you can do this online, but research and find out the best course of action depending on the state or country you live in. You should get this ball rolling sooner than later, but understand this isn't a long-term solution. Unemployment provides a small percentage of the money you were making before, and that's all. But it takes a little while for the approval process, and for the first check to get delivered. Not everyone gets approved for unemployment, but you might as well try just to be safe. Online employment search. Next, you want to get on your phone or your computer and you want to access 3 websites or applications. Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter, Indeed. These are companies that provide job listings that you can apply for directly online or through the app. You need to decide if you want to look for a similar job that you just had, or if you want to find a new job doing something you've always wanted to do or used to do and loved. Take this time to familiarize yourself with the opportunities that are currently out there. I've always been in the restaurant industry. I love being a bartender. But 7 years before I was fired, I was promoted into management, and aside from growing and developing individuals and teams, I did not like management at all. So, when I started my new job search, I kept an eye out on management positions, but I wasn't really focused on those. I was interested in doing 2 things. I knew I wanted to start a business, but I also needed to make money to pay my bills. So, I decided right there and then to do both. I utilized those job applications daily. You'll have the option to input keyword phrases that describe the job title you're looking for, and the applications will list jobs that are available to apply to. Additionally, you can elect to receive notifications of new postings as they appear on the site or app. In the restaurant industry, there seems to be a never-ending supply of job opportunities. I had the luxury of picking and choosing opportunities that I felt were right for me, rather than just taking the first thing that came along to start driving income. It only took me 3 weeks to find the ideal opportunity. I found a food and beverage position in a private club that paid me almost to the dollar the same amount that I was earning before, and I was working 20 hours less a week. On paper, it wasn't the same. I didn't have all my upper management benefits. But I did have medical and 401k, which were most important to me. Plus, I didn't have ownership or responsibility to this new job, so when I left, I was able to go home and enjoy my life. Unfortunately, at the same time I was fired, I also lost my girlfriend. So coming home was lonely, but I no longer experienced the pressure and stress of a job I completely disliked. Resume. Now it's time to update your resume. If you don't already have one, there are free resume builders online. Get one together as soon as possible. Don't embellish, just stick to the facts. Add all your transferable skills and work history and include anything special that might be relevant to this job that will help you stand out from the rest of the people out there. Once you get your resume completed, you'll upload it to these job sites. Employers also use these sites to look for potential employees. You'll start receiving emails and phone calls for interviews from employers you haven't applied to yet. To this day, I still receive emails from employers looking to set up an interview with me. You can also complete an online version of your resume, so you can one-click apply for jobs that you find interesting. Don't get discouraged. There are hundreds and thousands of people out there looking for a job in this market, and as a past employer myself, employment searches can be daunting. Employers don't always reach out to you immediately. Sometimes it may be in a day or two, a week, or even a month later. For the jobs you're really interested in, be sure to reach out to them either in person or on the phone to get your name out there. Time for interviews. When you feel comfortable and emotionally stable, this will be the time for you to start going out on interviews. If you choose to accept an interview and you're still emotionally distraught, those feelings will come through like a big bad bruise during the interview process. You want to feel comfortable, calm, and confident, and that's only going to come with time, after dealing with the emotional dysfunction of your firing. I went on 3 interviews before I was finally hired at my 4th interview. I remember that interview boldly. I felt happy, I felt confident, I felt strong, and I knew I looked good. I had been going back to the gym and spending time outside in the sun and eating good food. I sat down in that interview with a smile on my face, and I led the conversation. I asked all the questions, and a half hour later, I was hired. The interviews I had previously, I walked in with a weak disposition and allowed them to dictate the questions. And looking back, I didn't answer them very well. It's important that your head is on straight and you feel good on the inside, because that energy will come flowing through during the interview process. Accepting a job offer. At the right time, you will get a job offer. Depending on your financial situation, you may choose to take a job that isn't the most ideal for you, but will get income flowing in faster. Your livelihood is the most important thing right now. So, if you must use one job opportunity as a stepping stone to another, that's okay. Just be appreciative and respectful of the opportunities you do get, and in the process, become a better version of yourself than you were before your firing. Even if your firing wasn't your fault, nobody's perfect. We can always be better at everything we do. Put yourself in a position where employers would never think of firing you again. Once you understand the why behind your firing, and you take responsibility for it, you will be able to take adequate time for emotional recovery, and then be able to create an employment strategy for the future. Go out there and do what you want to do. Do what motivates you, what makes you happy, and what you're passionate about. Because of the choices I made, and the new job I found, the happiness I experienced, and the free time I was provided, I was able to strategize an online business plan and execute it while working my new job. I'm happier than I've ever been. I make more money than I've ever made in my life. And I have more free time to enjoy the things I like and to spend time with people that make me feel good. You can live this life too. Go out and make it happen. There are so many more ways that you can deal with being fired. And I know you have ideas that you can share. So, leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments section below, and help other people around the world deal with being fired. Thanks for watching. Please give us a thumbs up.